Good. Let me tell you first why we did this. First, obviously, the show is very large. We'll have over 50,000 people here. We have basically hundreds of tracks that are going on. We've got a lot of technology being introduced in the show inside a company that's already got a lot of technology. So one of the things that, frankly, we've been concerned about is that as you all come through the show, that we try to help give you some context as to what's going on, so that you have some view of what is important. You can obviously write whatever you choose to write, but think of this as us trying to give you some help. Try to point out strategically what's on our mind, what our strategic agenda is. Secondly, what we're introducing in the show that we think has critical relevance to the execution of that agenda. And so that's the objective. Now, just to give you some more background, this is being webcast, but it will not be webcast until after we're done. So one of our objectives has been to give you sort of a first mover advantage for being here at the show, give you some insight, give you a chance to ask some questions, and then at that point, we will then send the webcast out most likely after this concludes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is do a couple of things. I'm going to take you through the Oracle strategy. I want you to hear it again from me, for those of you that weren't in the audience this morning. And then I'm going to tell you some of the big announcements at the show, and then I'm going to try and fit those two things together, how the announcement plays back into the strategy. Then I'm going to stop. We'll take questions for as long as everybody here says we have time to take questions. All right, why don't we go to the first chart? Do we have a first chart? This is great. Yes, for a chart, you get it a little slow, but you get it. Oracle strategy. Four things. One, best of breed technology at every level of the stack. So as you can see the stack, whether it's storage, servers, our virtual machine, operating systems, database, middleware, or apps. Our objective is for each of those levels of the stack, each of those layers of the stack, to be the absolute best at the job they perform. And within that strategy, to be open, to fit into heterogeneous environments, and to help our customers build out their IT infrastructure. You might think of that as historically what Oracle has done. Sell into a federated environment, and have a high level of enterprise fit in multi-vendor environments. Strategy two, to take those very same best-of-breed parts of our stack and integrate them into engineered systems. And that manifests itself in XF data, XF logic, XF Linux. Three key things we do with engineered systems that are differentiated for customers. One, we do the work. In the first strategy, where people build by parts, who does the integration? They do. So the first thing we do with engineered systems is we integrate a server. We integrate it with storage. We integrate it with the database. We do that work as part of our R&D, as opposed to the customer's IT budget. Second, they perform better. We're going to talk a little bit about this in a second, but our X-2 or X2 Exadata was taking Oracle jobs, if you will, the Oracle database, and from the current baseline of what it was running, would allow them to run 100 times faster. I said this morning that when I first started making those comments, people would say, I think you're mistaken. You mean 100%, like it's 2x faster. I said, no, I'm not confused. It's 100 times faster. If a report was taking 100 minutes, it now takes 1 minute. 100 times faster. So these things perform. And now, the point I was trying to make also this morning was that when you say performance is 100 times faster, you also have the benefit to turn that into cost. If you wanted the same performance in concept, you'd need 1/100th of the infrastructure to perform that job at the same level of performance. So the customer can dial in cost versus performance. Third, it's easier to support. You get a higher level of support. We talked about now with our platinum services, which really revolve around our Oracle end-to-end implementations. We can give instantaneous support. We talk about 5-minute service level responses. Most of our customers, it's hard to give your name and address in 5 minutes, let alone get a response to a technical issue that arrives. So engineered systems, 3 huge advantages. Simpler, work done by us, not the customer. Second, performs better, if you will, the cost performance is materially better. Third, support level better. And you're going to see more and more of these manifestations of these vertically integrated systems as we go forward. Strategy 3, deliver on the next generation of cloud applications. These applications are very different. They're not, if you will, taking the old generation of applications. They're not rip and replace. When you rip out the old ones, put in the new ones. These applications are built modular. You can keep your PeopleSoft implementation, for example, and buy a performance management application, and they can work together. So you can buy modular. You can buy them from the Oracle Cloud. You can actually have them in a private cloud, or you can have them on-premise. Modular, choice of delivery architecture. Even more interesting, you can mix and match the delivery architectures. I can have some in a private cloud, I can get some out of the Oracle Cloud, I can have some on-premise. Better yet, you can change your mind. In addition, these are very modern applications. These were developed in the middle part of the 2000, 2005, 2006 is when the initiation of development was done on these applications. They've been developed on modern infrastructure. So many of what you would think of as SaaS applications, software as a service applications, many of their origins are in the 90s, late 90s. Modern infrastructure, modular, choice of delivery architectures, all built on Fusion Core. Fourth for us strategically is to deliver this through industry. So that what we do is deliver this. And by the way, on the first 3, I want to make a point to you. Think of those first 3 building on each other. Best of breed parts, feeding into these engineered systems. It'll be one thing if we built engineered systems out of very poor building blocks. But our core building blocks, the database, the middleware, the OS, in their own way, are leaders in and of their own right in the marketplace. And they feed those engineered systems. Those engineered systems are at the fundamental base of our cloud. Best of breed, engineered systems, cloud. Then we deliver much of this through an industry focus, an industry lens, trying to solve our customers' banking problem, our healthcare customers' clinical trials issues, retail merchandising problems. So that we're working on our customers' higher order issues in the context of everything we're trying to do. That's our strategy. We're spending, well, we will spend roughly $5 billion a year, $5 billion this year in R&D. Last year we spent about 4.5. Year before about 4.2. So not quite 14, but roughly 14 billion in R&D the last 2 years, and this one moving forward. Now, to be clear, more R&D spend doesn't necessarily mean more innovation. But when you look at the yield of products that have been coming out of our R&D organization, you see incredible yield. Then think of us. Right now, we closed our quarter that just ended, that we reported 10 days ago. And we ended with almost 32 billion of cash. Last year, we spent roughly $6 billion in R&D. we spent roughly $6 billion in M&A. And you should think of that M&A when we bought a company like Right Now, which deals with service automation, or Taleo, that was a leader in recruiting. We bought a leader in their specific market area, and that is actually a supplement to that R&D. That's our strategy. That's sort of the support behind our strategy. 120,000 people, 34,000 engineers, $5 billion R&D spend, all aimed at executing this strategic agenda. Next chart. A couple things that I thought I'd mention about, and these are things that came up in the conference, and I'll try to give you some context. I pretty well talked through the applications. You're going to hear more and more about this. One of the biggest issues, I talked about modular, I talked about the Oracle Cloud. One of the biggest things that was announced last night, as Larry made his floor announcement, was the fact that you could now get the Oracle Cloud behind your firewall. This is a big deal, because as many people talk about cloud, put everything in the cloud. One of the biggest issues when you get to CEOs or some levels of management are concerns about data privacy, regulatory issues that say simply you can't move data out of your data center, out of your firewall. Or frankly, just a concern in general. I don't know enough to know why I'm concerned. I'm just concerned that I'll lose control of my data. The fact is now we give you the benefits of cloud and cloud architecture, but we do it for you by taking away that concern about the privacy and security of your data behind your firewall. This is a big deal, because now I got benefits of the architecture. I got it as this financial benefit of OpEx versus CapEx. I got the exact same configuration that runs the Oracle Cloud, and I got it on my premise. Big announcement. So, without being trite, write about that. Second, we're now the only ones with a complete cloud offering, end-to-end. Infrastructure as a service. You can get incremental capacity out of the Oracle Cloud. You can now get platform as a service out of the Oracle Cloud. And I can get my applications. And as Larry, I thought, so well said last night, and I can mix and match. I can have my apps coming out of the Oracle Cloud. If I need extra capacity, I can get that from the Oracle Cloud. If I have a private cloud and need more capacity, I'll go to the Oracle Cloud. Remember the good thing about the Oracle Cloud? It's the exact same configuration as the private cloud. And while I know he went through this quickly, the reason I'm going through it again, this is a really big deal. That I now have all three flavors on standard configurations with the ability, again, to mix and match those capabilities. As I have a customer, move my IT agenda forward. Third, I talked about engineering systems enough. I think I'll talk about dash 3. So let me make sure I'm clear, and I'd really like you to write about this. With dash 2, we have many, many examples of being 100x faster. Again, 100x faster, typically viewed as report took 100 minutes, now it takes 1 minute. There's many reference stories the team can get you around performance benefits. And by the way, those performance benefits can be financial benefits. With what we released last night, you now have the ability to do some jobs that can be as many as 20 times faster with an X3 than an X2. Now, it's going to depend on the workload, whether you have a read workload or a write workload coming out of the database. But at its highest level of performance, you have to multiply the 100 times the 20 to get the improvement in performance of the Oracle database relative to the beginning. For those of you that would like math, I'll do it for you. 100 times 20 is 2,000. certain workloads of the Oracle database can see that much improvement in performance. This is a big deal. Added to the fact of the two things I'm going to describe, which I'd like to make sure you all have context for. We sort of go through this compression thing lightly. Let me try to give you some context. Most of our customers are growing their data 40% per year. Most of our customers spend $8,000, $10,000 a terabyte to store this data. Most of our customers spend 20% of their external IT budget on storage. And if you have a 50-50 mix of external, internal, that's 10% of your total IT. If you follow that math out, you have customers that are starting to collect social data, Twitter feeds, Facebook data, trying to get now to a sensor data. This is going to cause this explosion of data. And I'm going to pay $8,000 to $10,000 a terabyte to house this. These can run into, if you're a customer that's got 20 petabytes, 25 petabytes, these are not uncommon numbers in our customer base. They're spending tens, if not hundreds of millions to store this data. We can take that baseline that's in Oracle and shrink it 10x. Meaning, if I had 80% of my data in Oracle as an example, and I had 20 petabytes, 16 of it was in Oracle, and I compressed it 10x, I've gone from 16 terabytes to 1.6. And to be very frank, I don't think enough people write about that. I'd like you to write about that. In memory, you've heard different people talk about how much memory they have, and there's who's always get a kick out of this, right? Oh, yeah, a lot of memory. We have one group running around, they've got half a terabyte of memory. I want to make sure you understand what we released last night. This is 26 terabytes of memory. This is gargantuan in terms of the amount of memory that's now in the machine and the ability for us, as you know, to load jobs into memory. Big announcement last night. Memory and getting query into the memory gives you instantaneous performance. Now remember, the data is growing faster than we can make the memory increase to do the job. So you still have to have a place to get that data. But the memory decline is significant. And I've mentioned the Platinum Services 5-minute response time.